Hey guys, this is Harry with UberTech. Welcome back to the channel. Today's video will be a review of the full-size Walther PDP, which stands for Performance Duty Pistol. Before we get started, I'd like to ask everybody to please subscribe. Every subscriber helps the channel grow. What we're going to do is we're going to go over all the specs of the PDP from front to back, and we're going to start with the barrel. The barrel is a 4-inch polygonal rifling that comes with a step-down chamber and a polished feeding ramp. Just in case you didn't know what a step-down chamber is, it's the first 25% of the chamber is slightly smaller than the opening right here. The benefits of the step-down chamber is that it makes sure that the bullet is perfectly aligned in the chamber every single time. This makes the gun more accurate, and they also say that the gun doesn't get as dirty because the casing makes a better seal within the chamber. The one negative about the step-down chamber is that I would get some failure to eject the spent casings when running Wolf steel cased ammo. It's not every shot, but it's at least 1 in every 5 rounds, which is pretty often. My guess is that the steel casings expand more than brass, and that's why it gets stuck in the chamber. Other than that, I had no failures with the brass cased ammo. So next we're going to talk about the sights that they added to this Walther PDP. And I really feel like they dropped the ball when they added these sights. Number one, they're plastic, and I really do not like plastic sights on my guns, especially if it's going to be a duty pistol. Also, they just put these white painted dots, so they're not illuminating, they're just painted on white dots. If this is going to be a duty pistol, I feel like if you're going to carry this thing at night, you need some type of illumination for your iron sights. Also, when you're selling a pistol that's optic ready, I feel like you should, by default, put higher sights on the pistol, so this way you can co-witness with your optic. The only positive thing about these sights is that the rear sight is adjustable. Other than that, in my personal opinion, I feel like if you are going to carry this pistol, you need to swap out those sights immediately. And while we're talking about mounting an optic to this pistol, you'll need to fill out a form once you take ownership of the PDP to request a mounting plate of your choice to be shipped out to you. I really do wish that they gave you at least 3 most popular mounting plates in the box. That way you don't have to wait for your red dot mounting plate to come in the mail. If you think about it, once you get a brand new gun, I mean, if you have a red dot, you probably want to mount it right away and you want to get to the range to go shoot. So having to wait for it to come in the mail kind of stinks. But on the positive side, at least they are giving you one for free. Next, it comes with this 1913 accessory rail, and then also it has these really nice deep serrations, and they are like really deep. I'm not sure if that's coming through on camera, but they are really deep. And so Walther is calling these serrations super terrain serrations. They're good and bad. I love how much grip it gives you when you're trying to perform a press check or if you're just trying to lock the slide to the rear, which means the pistol will be slightly wider and also slightly bulkier when you're trying to conceal carry this pistol. But they really do feel great in hand. I also have to bring up that the guiding rod is plastic and it feels cheap. I checked all the other guns that I own and they all have metal guiding rods. I'm sure Walther tested this plastic guiding rod extensively, and it shouldn't be an issue, but I wanted to make sure that I noted it in this review. Now let's talk about the trigger. Walther's calling this trigger the PDT, and that stands for Performance Duty Trigger. It has a trigger safety that needs to be depressed before the trigger can be pulled, just like the ones that come with Glocks and stuff. So as you push this in, then you can pull that trigger back, because this little piece right here, if that's out, you can see it hits the frame and it doesn't let the trigger be pulled. So this has to be depressed and then you can pull the trigger. We are safe. So now let's ghost the trigger and see how it performs. It has a little longer pull than I like, and it's slightly gritty. Nowhere near as gritty as when I first got the FN509. Just slightly gritty. You could just feel a little bit of grit. It has a defined wall. It also has a crisp break. So when you hit that wall, you have to pull just a little bit more and then it breaks. Also, the trigger reset is short, but I would like it to feel a little bit more of like a tactile feel So this way I can actually feel it resetting instead of just hearing it reset. But that's just me being nitpicky. So here's the reset. So you hear the click, but you really don't feel it as much. You do feel it, but not a lot. Let's do that one more time. So there's that little bit of a long travel right there. Then you hit that defined wall and you pull a little bit more and then it breaks. And then here's the reset again. Comes out. Boom. There you go. And then you pull a little bit more, you're back on the wall. So I measured the trigger pull on my Walther PDP. I do 3 pulls and I do an average. The average trigger pull weight is anywhere from 2 pounds to 2.6. It's an extremely light trigger, at least for the one that I have. On the website, they said it's usually like a 5-pound pull, but mine is nowhere near that. So I wouldn't feel safe carrying this for my EDC pistol because the trigger pull is way too light for me. But that's just my opinion. That being said, this is a really good trigger for right out of the box with no modifications. Something else to note, when you field strip your PDP, you're gonna have to pull the trigger. Now again, that's not a big deal for me, but I know it is for some people, and that's why I notate that in my reviews. The magazine release button is easy to press reliably and can be swapped to the other side for lefties. The slide lock is easy to use and is ambidextrous. When it comes to a loaded chamber indicator, there's no physical way to know that you have a round in the chamber. There's just a slight little opening right here where you could see that there's a round in there. But again, it's just so slight that I wish there was some other way, like something physical, where once there's a round in there, you feel this piece like popped out slightly more or something like that. If you're in complete darkness, all you have to do is just rub your finger over it and you know there's a round in the chamber. So now let's talk about the grip. Walther's calling this grip texture the performance duty texture. I have to say that I like the way the texture feels in hand. If you were to just rub your finger over it, it feels like tiny little needles. But when you put it in your hand and grip it, it feels really good in the palm of your hand. They also put some stippling in front of the trigger guard right here. If that's how you grip your guns, then great, but that's not something I use. But it's nice that they added it there. Walther's also saying that they created the bottom of this grip differently to make it easier to pick up the dot for your optic. They say if you squeeze your pinky with your offhand support, that it pulls the dot into the window. I think it works, but I noticed squeezing my pinky with other pistols also works the same way. I'm not too sure they needed to add this little slope for it to actually work. My Walther PDP full size came with 2 18-round mags. The Walther PDP full size weighs in about 1 pound 8 ounces. The barrel length was 4 inches. Overall length is 7.2. Height is 5.7. Width is 1.36. So let's talk about how it feels to shoot at the range. It's a little snappy for a full-size pistol, but it's still accurate and easy to shoot. I put well over 600 rounds mixed with 115, 124, 147 grain factory and some reloads. I also ran 115 grain steel-cased Wolf ammo, and that's the only time that I had any malfunctions. I think the malfunctions are from the step-down chamber, like I mentioned earlier in the review. There were times I've shot this pistol without cleaning or lubing it from the previous range visit, and it still ran great with the brass ammo. Now let's list the good and the bad for the Walther PDP. The good things are, it comes with a great barrel, very accurate and easy to shoot, one of the best stock triggers out there, no need to customize stippling for your grip. It comes optic ready, great slide serrations that give you amazing grip for press checks or locking the slide to the rear, and Walther will send you a free optics mounting plate of your choice. The bad things to note, the sights suck and have to be replaced ASAP, especially if you want to carry this as your EDC. The step-down chamber doesn't work well with steel-cased ammo. The PDP is slightly snappy for a full-size pistol. Slide serrations make the slide thicker than I like. The trigger that came with my PDP is too light to conceal carry, and that's why the PDP scores a 7.5. Guys, if you thought this video was useful, please give it a big thumbs up. If you have any questions, please put it in the comments below and I'll try to get back to you as soon as I can. If you haven't already, please subscribe. Every subscriber helps the channel grow. Thanks for watching my video, and I'll see you in the next one.